On behalf of the Illinois Pork Producers Association, we are bringing you another series of videos in addition to our Illinois Pork Expo video series. Today we have Jen Sorenson with us. Jen grew up on a hog farm in southeastern Iowa and has always had a passion for telling the story of agriculture. After receiving degrees in animal science and journalism from Iowa State University, Jen worked in a couple of different communications departments before becoming Iowa Select Farms Director of Communications. Jen has been with Iowa Select Farms for 10 years and is responsible for all facets of internal and external communications, media relations, public relations, and industry outreach. Additionally, Jen is currently serving as president of the National Pork Producers Council and also serves on the Iowa Pork Producers Association Board of Directors. As part of her current role, Jen has a strong understanding of the employer-to-employee relationship. In this video, she will share her recommendations on hiring and retaining great employees in the pork industry.
Hey everyone, Jen Sorenson here. I'm the Communications Director for Iowa Select Farms. I was so honored when IPPA asked if I would be a part of a producer education series for the Illinois pork producers and talk about a topic that is so important to us, and that's employee retention. Good people are so hard to recruit and so hard to keep. So this is an issue and a challenge that I think unifies all of us as producers. So I'm happy to spend the next 20 minutes with you today talking about what we do at Iowa Select Farms to help retain our people. So first of all, I want to talk a little bit about who we are as a company. We don't have a single farm in the state of Illinois, but we have many in the state of Iowa. First of all, I'll start talking about our mission, vision, and values. So not unlike yourselves, we are here to responsibly produce pork that is safe and nutritious and high quality for our customers and the food companies that they serve. And we do that through our values of people care, environmental care, community care, and animal care. And I'll tell you a little bit, let you in on a little secret, and that one is more important than the other three. And the one that is so critical is people care, because we can't execute and continuously improve the other three without our people. So we put a lot of focus on our people, making sure that they're recognized and making sure that they feel that their work is meaningful and are contributing to this great and noble mission that we have of producing high quality, safe pork products. I'm going to talk a little bit about Iowa Select Farms and our place in the pork industry. So we're the fourth largest production company in the United States, and we're the largest family-owned production company. This allows us to have a family, privately owned feeling, which a lot of our employees like. But I'll also tell you that we are of significant size. We have 1,200 employees, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. And I don't want you to listen to this presentation and have a thought that, oh boy, we're not that big. We could never afford that, or we could never execute that, or we could never do that because they have an advantage, they have a bigger size. I think that's the wrong way to approach it, because oftentimes when it comes to employee relationship and engagement and culture, I actually think some of the smaller companies and smaller producers have a significant advantage, because imagine our people might not know who our owners are, and our owners might not know who all of our people are. And there's an advantage with small companies and really capturing and harnessing that small family feel and being able to gather under one roof for a company picnic or a bowling excursion once we're through COVID, right? Or different activities that you can all gather together in one spot. We simply can't do that, so we're at a disadvantage. We have to do what we can do and we're capable of. So big, small, or medium-sized producers, we can all find ways to really work on retaining and engaging our employees. So we're a family-owned producer. We're the fourth largest in the United States. We have 800 farms across Iowa and one in the state of Nebraska. We have 1,200 employees. 650 contractors, whether that be a finishing farm contractor or a load crew or a vaccination crew or a wash crew. A lot of people that fill this bucket of services into our pork production company. We market about 5 million hogs a year and produce just over 1.5 billion pounds of pork. And most of our pork goes to Tyson or JBS. And here's a map of our footprint. So you can see all in the state of Iowa, but also we have that disadvantage of other companies. We can't do a lunch and learn. We can't do a training all under one roof. We're very spread out across the state, which makes it hard when we talk about employee retention and engagement and building a culture. But I will talk about some of the things that we do. I'll also say pork production is very hard. It's not an easy job, and it's not easy to recruit, and it's not easy to keep our employees. I know that's why I'm here talking about this today, but it's something that we have to work on all the time, every day. And it's also something now, I told Mike that we haven't exactly cracked the code on this, but we do a lot of efforts, and we have made significant increases in employee retention year on year. So I talked a little bit earlier about our people are everything, and they absolutely are. Like I said, we can't take care of our environment, our animals, and our communities without first having a group of people who are all on the same page, driving towards the same goals. And so here's a picture of some of our people, and you can see that there's a big mix. You can see we have a supervisor, some caretakers, some of our nutrient management groups, a truck driver, a contract grower. You might not know that by looking at the picture, but this is a pretty big mix of the different sections of employees that we have across the company. So when we talk about top 4 things that are really important to employee retention, I'm going to talk through those a little bit. First of all is to make sure that you're hiring the right people from the very beginning. This is hard because sometimes you have 2 job openings open on a farm, which means that they're short-staffed, and there's nobody, like literally nobody, applying for your position. So it's hard because you're tempted to put just a warm body in that spot just to get the farm fully staffed and moving forward. But it's really important that you have a really great job description, that you're forthright in what the job is and the challenges that the job has. Maybe it's messy, maybe it's labor intensive. You're working on a team, maybe you're working alone. When you're doing the hiring and writing that job description, just make sure you're being upfront and honest. Also make sure that you're providing a fair wage and a safe work environment. These things are really important. You can always look to your state workforce development to find salary and pay bands in similar areas of hiring. Look to your local labor shed report. Oftentimes your workplace development centers will provide what competitive wages are and competitive salaries are based on the job description. Use those resources and use that information to help build your presenting offer of benefits, salary, and a job description to help you hire good people. Another key tip is when you have someone hired, welcome them and onboard them. One of our farm managers said something to me that really left an impression is, you know, when you have a new person, plan to spend the entire day with them, helping train them, helping them get set up, helping them feel comfortable. And then on day 2 of their job, plan to spend 80% of your time helping them. And on day 3, plan to spend 60% of your time helping them and progress through the week until you're down to spending an hour. But up front on their first couple of days, clear your calendar to help them make sure that they are getting everything they need and are set up to success. Also, employers have to have the commitment to continue to develop and train and promote their people. Promoting from within. The majority of our farm managers started out as animal caretakers, and I don't think that's any different across the board with any production company in the United States. Our best leaders have started out entry level and have worked their way up. So make sure that you're helping them and providing them resources to get cross-trained and keep getting better, keep earning more money and working their way up the production ladder. And then this is a area that I'll spend a little bit more time on because this is an area that I do for Iowa Select Farms, and that's recognizing efforts. We continually are working to celebrate the accomplishments of our employees and make sure people know all the great hard work that they're doing for our company, what the goals are on the farm, and how they're achieving them. So as we go around the horn again and just recap some of the things that I talked about, what's important is, okay, we're starting at the top here. Make sure you're hiring good quality people. Set yourself up for success. Don't just fill a spot with a warm body. It might take some time to find a good quality person. Sometimes we're not talking about a full-time employee or even a part-time employee. Animal care and good labor can come in a lot of different shapes and sizes, and maybe it's an independent contractor, maybe it's contracting with a crew, or a different type of labor like an H-2A or a TN visa program that helps supplement and fills those gaps in your company. Make sure that you're doing your homework and offering those competitive salaries and a good benefits package for your employees. Offering good growth and advancement opportunities, knowing that most of your production managers might have started as animal caretakers. A safe work environment, that's table stakes. People need to know that they're going to be cared for and have a safe work environment, and train, and hold those farm managers and those employees accountable for wearing their PPEs, knowing those safety protocols. Those are all things that we have to do and are expected of us as employers. Offer that continual training. This is so important. That should never stop. Even if you're with the job for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, there's always more opportunity to get better, to try new roles, to cross-train. And then recognition and appreciation, those fun things that we get to do and special perks that help employees feel valued and cared for are so important. I'm going to talk a little bit about making them unique and fun and trying to really build that top workplace employer of choice feeling amongst the other employers in your labor shed. So let's talk a little bit about that. The first thing I want to share with you, this is a typical sow farm structure. It is not unlike any other structure, any other producer's structure of how they would set up employees on their sow farms. So first of all, every farm has a farm manager, right? And if you're a larger sow farm, you have a breeding department head and a farrowing department head. We are also lucky on some of our larger farms to have assistants, assistant farrowing, assistant breeding. And then we roll into very specialized roles like newborn pig specialists, heat check specialists, and gestation specialists. And then the balance of the farm is made up of entry-level caretakers. And the reason I share this slide is because it's very important that all of these positions in the company, they're so key, but they also need to be treated a little bit different. The needs of your sow farm manager, let's say one that has been there for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, are going to be very different than somebody who's been there 3 months as an animal caretaker. So I think it's really important to make sure that you're spending the time getting to know what drives these individuals in these key positions, what the goals are of these positions, how you achieve the goals in the positions, the impact of these positions, and make sure that you're really customizing your efforts when it comes to retention and recognition. So when I talk about that, these are the programs that we utilize at Iowa Select Farms. We have awards programs that are based on solely production performance. That's called our Select Pride program. It allows us to recognize the farms in the top 10% of our company. We have 48 sow farms. So if you can imagine, we're only hitting the top 10%. So the Select Pride program is really great because it's recognizing our top performers, but there's farms at the bottom of the list that have had a PERS break or some type of other setback, and those people need support and those employees need help too. So we have to make sure that we have a program that helps recognize all people within the organization at all roles in the company. We have a Select Pride Partner program that helps recognize any support department person that just provides exemplary service. We have a Safety Award program. Again, you might have a farm that isn't a top performing farm, but they might have totally aced safety quarter after quarter. And there's a great way to recognize an accomplishment and make them feel like they're valued and part of something meaningful. Select Care Excellence simply recognize a person or individual or a team that's really knocking our values out of the park every day. And years of service is another key one. It's really important to people that they get recognized. We actually took away this program for a while and we brought it back in because it was so important to our longtime employees who have been with us 15, 20, and 25 years. Many of them were caretakers. Many of them were day ones and newborn specialists and not necessarily had risen up to farm managers. And so years of service is a really great way to recognize people for simply being loyal and sticking with your company. We have other development opportunities like our ambassador program, production leadership program that helps employees get onboarded up into, like, let's say from a caretaker into a newborn specialist position, a newborn specialist position up to a farrowing department head, and onward and upward from there. We have hundreds of people in this program at any given time, and we just expanded it into our support departments too, just to show you how important it is that people can see a pathway up, not only in responsibility, but also making more money. You can do that no matter what size of farm you have, is continue to commit to that development and training and upward mobility if you can. Another program that we have just simply sends an easy, simple recognition box of goodies out to a farm that allows the farm manager to be empowered to reward and recognize his or her own team versus it coming from Jen Sorenson or the HR department. It really provides that family feeling at the farm level and gives the farm manager empowerment and ownership over recognizing his or her own team. And then bonus potential. We have a couple different programs within the company that bonus based on performance, but we talked about those farms that might not be performing well. They might need a little boost. Find another way. Maybe it's safety. Maybe it's hitting their biosecurity audits or animal care audits, or even their supply inventory, nailing that 100%. Just find another way to encourage and engage with a team, and they'll start stepping their way up, and feeling more confident and performing better. We also make every attempt to offer unique events and perks for our employees and contractors and the entire family. This was a really sad story last year in the face of COVID, but we were able to give away meat, give away pork loins, give away ground pork, send out coupon packs, send out snack packs, send out hoodie sweatshirts, all little things and simple things to remind our employees that we care about them, even when times are extra tough. And that's the most important time to do those things, is when things are especially tough. We do Christmas hams and Christmas bacon and even turkeys for Thanksgiving. Now, again, this is where you might say, wow, we could never do that at the level that we do frequently, but you can sketch out things by quarter or maybe twice a year. And some of these things are small. Just make every effort to offer a little something as often as you can and spread it out and remind them that their company and their supervisors and their management team really cares about what they're doing on the farm. And finally, we do a lot of communication, trying to not only recruit employees, but recognize our employees publicly. And when I say publicly, we do a lot of work on social media to recognize their efforts and tell their stories. And we do this because on things like Facebook, their friends are on Facebook, their families on Facebook, their kids, their moms, their dads are on Facebook. And we can't let people onto the farm to see what goes on. And their child can't visit the work site, at least not at our company. So taking the time to share their story and recognize them in a public way is a thing that they think is really cool. They really like it when they hear that Jen or Allison or Eleanor or any member of the communication team wants to set up a visit to the farm, because it means we're going to bring our camera and we're going to be there to capture stories and ultimately tell stories and talk about our people. And brag on them, get quotes from their supervisors, get quotes from their veterinarians, get quotes from the owner, whoever works closely with them. Just start championing them and sharing that publicly, and that culture will really absorb up and just multiply. It's a really cool thing. At least our people love having their story told, and if they don't want it to happen, they'll just tell us and we won't do it. But 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, they want someone to come and brag on them a little bit. And that's a really great way that we recognize our employees, and it doesn't take any money at all. So some final words of advice when it comes to publicly promoting yourselves or promoting yourselves just within your employees and stakeholder groups. I've got a couple words of advice so nobody trips up. The first one is culture is key. All of these things are here to help build a positive employee culture. Talking about your people, talking about and showing how much you care about your people, but you can't talk about it if you actually don't. That will backfire for you, especially on social media. So make sure that you truly care about your people and you're doing everything you can to set them up for success. And then tell that story. Always be authentic, always be transparent, and we openly admit mistakes. We tell the story of the farm that's broken with PERS 3 times over and has poised epic comebacks more than we talk about the farms who have been PERS 3 for years and their record-breaking performance, because the farms that have overcome PERS time and time again are the ones that need the help and support. So we are always talking about our mistakes and really putting our people in the spotlight of overcoming adversity and overcoming challenges. So again, sharing the good stories and sharing the bad comes with it. We're human. There's no miracles in production agriculture, as Norman Borlaug says, and we have no problems telling that story. Remember those internal audience segments. The farm manager has different needs than that brand new animal caretaker. Think about those farm managers that have been with you forever, and they are the heart and soul of your organization. And think about what they need what they need and what they would make them feel valued and appreciated. And sometimes it's different things. Sometimes it's a financial bonus, sometimes it's a ham, sometimes it's just some recognition, maybe a story on Facebook. Sometimes it's a clothing item with the company name on it. I don't know, ask them, trial some things, see how it works, see how they react. Maybe it's just a simple thank you note. This also goes along with the next point of who's really important. I see this I see this time and time again. What companies do is is they start to dabble in sharing stories and recognition of employees, and the first person they put up is their intern or their receptionist. And those are really important positions to a company. But boy, I would advise you to always start with those core production farm managers that have been with you forever, because they're the ones that, again, are the heart and soul of your company. And just make sure that you are balancing the recognition and the spotlight across all of your roles and all of your people, not just one segment, not just the easy segment of people that are close to you in the office, and not just maybe the new younger employees. Make sure you are completely inclusive and especially focused on people that fall into years of service, high performing, or overcoming adversity. And then finally, all of this will, oh, I forgot this. I use this rule of thumb all the time, is to promote and market your efforts all the time. I don't do this because we're full of ourselves, but it helps us recruit people. When people apply with you and you set up an interview, you want them to say, I hear you treat your employees well, or I hear you do good things for the community. That's awesome. That means you've done a legitimate good job of promoting yourself and marketing your efforts as first of all, a great place of work where there's good jobs and a bright future, but also a great industry and a great public relations for the industry. So promote and market what you're doing as a company and as a business all the time. Wear those company shirts with pride, take pictures, post them, get them in the local paper, get on the radio, and really do a legitimate job of promoting yourself, because that your recruitment will become so much easier. And finally, my last piece of advice is all of this will dramatically backfire if you have poor leaders and managers. So if you put yourself out there publicly, what you don't want to do is set yourself up for failure by somebody saying, well, you know, I was treated poorly on the farm, or didn't get my bonus, or didn't feel like anyone ever cared about me, because all of your good faith and good efforts on employee retention will backfire if you're not actually living and breathing those values every day. So that's all I have for you. It was a real pleasure to talk about employee retention. Like I said, we're not perfect here at Iowa Select, but we do a lot of work, and we have made significant improvements in employee retention, and we hope that you do too.